The other night, my husband and I went out for pizza on my birthday. And I sort of get this one. It's like personal size. It's probably a little bit bigger than that. And I had eaten about half of mine and said, I'm just going to save the rest. And my husband said something like, yeah, you'll probably be more excited to eat the rest of this tomorrow than to stuff yourself and then feel full tonight. Because there have been occasions when we have gone out to eat and right, I'm eating and I don't feel full yet. And then I eat more than I should. And then I feel really full and not great the rest of the night. And so I like how he just put it into really good words. So when we're thinking about like, should we keep eating this? The simple thing, are you going to feel better like eating it all tonight? Or will you feel better if you save some and eat it tomorrow, right? Especially if it's something that's more indulgent or something you don't have that often. If I save the rest of it for tomorrow and then it's my lunch or my dinner, I'm probably going to feel better and more excited that I sort of get to eat that thing again. Because so often when food tastes good, we just keep eating because it's there and it tastes good in the moment. And they have engineered food to make us want food more. They typically use fat, salt, and sugar to do that. So instead we can pause and we can think, am I actually still hungry? Would I enjoy this later? How am I going to feel after this meal? And so today I'm just going to be talking about this, how to know when to stop eating and why sometimes it can be harder than we think and how we can start to feel more in control around food without obsessing about this. And honestly, this is a big part of what I help women do when I do coaching with them. So sometimes it's very practical tips, but we also focus on more than just eating. But learning how to slow down, how to process our emotions, understanding our habits, how we can build healthier habits and patterns for ourselves that really feel sustainable. Because a lot of women actually know things that they should be doing, but they struggle with those day-to-day decisions and habits around food. So if that's you, just remember you can always set up a free health coaching call with me and we'll just get to know each other. You can share your goals and your struggles with me and we can sort of talk through what that support might look like for you and how to help you get to those goals that you have for yourself. So if that's you, check the description where you'll find links to set up the free coaching call. There's also links to find out more about the different services that I offer. And I offer a 10% discount to military, police, teachers, nurses, sort of those frontline people. So just mention that on the call so I can share that discount code with you. Hi friends, and welcome to the Healthy Beyond 40 show. I'm Michelle, mama 4 and military wife. And I'm passionate about helping women get healthy from the inside out so they can feel better and live their best life. Do you feel like you're struggling to lose weight and get in shape? If you're ready to develop healthier habits, exercise consistently, and lose weight sustainably, then you're in the right place. I combine my expertise from my doctorate in physical therapy to my experience as a health coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher to bring you actionable steps for a healthy lifestyle. No magic pill here, so lace up those shoes and get moving. So for a little background, first I want to talk about why we overeat. So food can just taste good, right? And like I said, sometimes they engineer food to taste really good to make us become addicted and want more of it. And eating is something that can be enjoyable. It's also something that can distract us from other things that maybe we don't really like or feel very comfortable in our life. Eating can also happen really fast. I know sometimes I can eat really fast. And sometimes we might have patterns from as we grew up as a child that we had to like finish our plate or we can't throw things away and we finish things just because they're there. So sometimes overeating isn't just a lack of discipline. It's really a lot of these other pieces go into it. And so something else that I want to touch on is sometimes it can be a delayed signal of when we start feeling full. And I like to tell people to feel about 80% full. Because, right, for most of us, when we feel full, that doesn't typically feel too good. So we want to get to a point right before that. But sometimes that can take a while. It could take 15, 30 minutes for that sensation in your stomach, for the food to move down, and that sensation in your brain to send a cue. So, right, sometimes we may have ate in 10 minutes, and that cue isn't there. Sometimes we may not have drank enough water during the day, so we may be thirsty, but it feels hungry to us. So we eat more when we need to actually drink more. And sometimes if we're not eating enough fiber with our meal, we're not sort of having enough of that sort of fluff and that food and that fiber that takes up space where we don't feel it either. And so sometimes when me and my husband have gone out to eat, that signal just like does not kick in. And sometimes I've even noticed that if I just stand up and move, I'm like, oh, wow, like I am full. So sometimes it may be something as simple as like, if you think you've had enough, just like get up and walk around for 30 seconds and see how you feel. So we need to make sure that we're eating enough, that we're eating slow enough and that we're chewing that food and really giving time. We might want to put our fork down in between eating or pausing midway. Or for some people, it's just sort of knowing a general idea of how much normally you should eat and stopping there. So, right, we've gone to this pizza place before, and I know if I eat half of it, so if I have 2 slices, that usually puts me in a good spot. So whether I feel full at that moment, I sort of know that for myself now, that that's a good stopping point for me. So we can start to learn about that for ourselves too, sometimes if that body sensation is not catching up yet. And so when we start to slow down, that starts to change things, right? We could even take a breath before eating. We can even eat, especially if we're by ourselves, without scrolling on the phone and being really intentional. Making sure that we're drinking water before a meal and during our meal too. And just really slowing down. Because sometimes that just takes a little bit for our body to catch up. So asking ourselves, am I still hungry? Am I satisfied? And I like that word satisfied, right? Because we don't have to be 100% full. So 80% full, satisfied, that might be a good cue word in your mind. Am I wanting more just because it tastes good? Right? So really noticing what's driving the eating. And how do I want to feel afterwards, in an hour, in a few hours? And so we really have to start to think to the future. So we often eat for this moment that we're in, instead of thinking about that future, how we're going to feel in a few hours. Or even that future self that we have that goal to, that person that we want to be in a few months or a year from now when it comes to our health. Do we want to be that person that finishes the chips just because they're there? Or eating a dessert because everybody ordered dessert but we're full? Or just grabbing those nighttime snacks because you feel overwhelmed and stressed from the day? We need to think of what we want that future goal and that future self to be. And that future you can also enjoy food, but maybe they know how to have those boundaries. And then they feel really good and they feel in choice with what they want. Right? So the future me enjoyed the next day after my birthday getting to heat the pizza up. We have a toaster oven that, if you guys don't have, it is really great to heat things up. So even like you could do like chips and cheese and it's going to melt the cheese. Or like my kids, my son calls it grilled cheese, but it's just basically toast with cheese melted on it. I'm like, it's more toasted cheese, but he likes the word grilled cheese. But it's super easy to use a toaster oven to sort of reheat food so that it tastes better than what it would in a microwave. So I reheated that in the toaster oven and the pizza tasted really good. And it was enjoyable to basically get to have the meal twice instead of stuffing myself and just having it once. So remember, just sort of like in the episode I recorded right before this, you are not powerless around food. Food does not have to control you. You can change your habits and you can create awareness and make different choices. Again, the goal is not perfection. Things are not always going to go perfectly, but just because we do something that we didn't want, we can change it for the next time. So it's learning to pause. It's learning to be intentional. And it's knowing that you are in control, right? There might be things that we have to work through to get to there, but you are in control of what you put into your body. So you may not be able to control the craving or that impulse you have, right? That stuff will just automatically happen. But you have the power to make new patterns, to make new habits, to work through those things that have been holding you back. So I want you to think of those moments when you tend to overeat. Maybe it's you're eating fast because you're busy. Maybe it's when you sit down at the end of the night. Maybe it's when you go to restaurants or on vacations, or stress eating or rewarding yourself. So notice where you are disconnecting from your body and what your body really needs, and when you're disconnecting from those goals that you have from yourself. And sometimes a lot of the first part is really just developing this awareness, because sometimes we don't connect what is going on underneath. A couple of weeks ago when I was talking to one of my clients, she was just sharing with me this one thing with eating that she was getting stuck on. And she's like, I don't know why I did that. And I asked a few questions, and lo and behold, there was a pretty good reason there emotionally that she was doing that. But sometimes it's like our brain can sort of just like push things down or not think about them. But when we were able to bring that up and work through that, then she's able to have freedom in it. So sometimes there's just something a little deeper that we need to work on, and we need to just bring that awareness so we can know what's really going on and not just go on autopilot and be like, I don't know why I'm doing this. So I encourage you to slow down your eating, whatever that may look like. Putting your fork down, chewing longer, maybe just talking with someone. Prioritize that protein and that fiber. Those are going to help you to feel fuller. Maybe pause halfway through your meal. Make sure that you're hydrated. And really start to check in on fullness. And if you don't have awareness of that body cue, sort of start to know what's a good amount for you to eat. And you can start there too. So remember, you don't have to feel out of control around food. And the goal is not being super restrictive or being perfect. It's about having awareness, being intentional with your choices, and being able to trust yourself. So every time you pause and you make a more intentional choice, you're building a new pattern and you're starting to trust yourself more. And if you feel like you know some of these things, but you still struggle with actually figuring out how to apply them consistently to your life, that's exactly where coaching can help. And I find that each person is so different on what they need and sort of what the solution is for them. And this is why a lot of times diets and general plans don't work, because they don't take into account our habits, our lives, our thoughts, our patterns, our emotions. So I encourage you, if that's you, set up a free health coaching call with me. We'll go over your goals, your struggles, where you're at, and see if we can come up with a plan that actually works for your life and your goals so that you can help be consistent. This is a no pressure call. So it's just a laid back call where we get to sort of know each other and figure out that next step for you. So in the description, there will be a link where you guys can sign up for that. All right, friends, I encourage you to keep on moving and just keep taking that one step forward in your health.